really at the crux of it, conversation it's a two-part thing. There's talking and there's listening. And somewhere along the way, we've kind of lost that balance.
I came to realize that conversational competence might be the single most overlooked skill we fail to teach. Is there any 21st century skill more important than being able to sustain coherent, confident conversation?
I don't think that there is. And she went on to talk about, the amount of screen time, especially young people and teenagers spend, conversing and communicating with each other via text and via apps and via screen and Facebook and online, but how important it is to have that in your life, yes, but then also to be able to hold a conversation with somebody face to face too. Here are some of the tips that she gave that made so much sense to me when I was listening. 1, don't multitask. Now, Celeste says it's more than just setting down your phone, closing your laptop. Actually be in the moment. Be present. Don't be half in, half out. Don't be thinking about what you're going to have for dinner or crafting what you're going to say next. Just be listening to that person at that time.
That's hard.
Don't pontificate.
I beg your pardon?
I had to look up what that actually meant.
Holy.
Basically, don't think about your own opinion as the other person's giving theirs, because true listening actually requires setting aside oneself. Because if you wanted to talk about your opinion without any chance of rebuttal or differing views or questions or other people's opinions, just write a freaking blog.
3,
use open-ended questions. Let the person that you're talking to describe it, because they're the ones that know. So how did it make you feel? What did you do with that? Where did you go next? Because complicated questions essentially get you really simple answers.
4,
Go with the flow. Celeste says that thoughts are going to come into your mind. Just don't worry about them.
Go with the flow. That means thoughts will come into your mind, and you need to let them go out of your mind.
Because focusing on them, the person that you're having the conversation with, if you're thinking about how you can relate to that, you're not actually actively listening to their points of conversation.
Isn't that a part of a conversation? Is that then by you kind of sharing how you relate, that means you've listened?
But you've got to go with the flow. How often have you heard radio interviews where the person is asking questions and you know that they've got their list and they're sticking to it? Instead of picking up what that other person has said and going with it, they ask a random question the person brought up about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
5,
If you don't know, say you don't know. Don't claim to be an expert unless you know for sure.
6,
Don't equate your experience with theirs. This was actually my favorite point.
Don't equate your experience with theirs. If they're talking about having lost a family member, don't start talking about the time that you lost a family member. If they're talking about the trouble that they're having at work, don't tell them about how much you hate your job. It's not the same. It is never the same.
Yeah, it's not about you. Convos are not a promotional opportunity.
Yeah.
7,
Stay out of the weeds. People don't care about years, names, dates, exact details. It's actually really boring. They just care about you and what you have to say.
8,
And most importantly and finally, just listen. So many experts say it is the number one most important skill that you can ever develop. And she said that Buddha says if your mouth is open, you're not learning. I've written a few of them down, but yeah, we'll share the video. I found it so powerful, so simple, yet made so much sense.
There's a lot to think about there.
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.